My sister stood in the middle of our parents' living room, her face red, her voice shaking. "You're asking us to pay you? For family? You're disgusting. You're a monster." My mother nodded. My brother crossed his arms. The room went silent. I had asked for $100. $100 after 8 years of free babysitting. After thousands of hours. After missing prom, job interviews, my own life. And they called me a monster. What they didn't know was I had been keeping records. Every single hour, every single time they said it was an emergency. Every single promise to make it up to me. I had proof, and I was about to use it. But let me take you back to where this all started. Because this didn't begin with $100. It began the day I turned 16 and my family decided I owed them everything. Before we go further, drop your location and the time where you are right now in the comments. And if you've ever been called selfish for setting a boundary, hit that like button. You'll see why in a minute. I was 16 when it started. My sister had just had her first baby. She called my mom, panicked. She needed someone to watch him for a few hours. Just this once. My mom volunteered me. "It's just a couple hours. You're not doing anything." I wasn't doing anything except studying for finals. But I said yes. Because that's what family does, right? A couple hours turned into every weekend. Then it was weeknights. Then my brother had twins and he needed help too. Then summers became full-time childcare. I missed my senior prom because my sister had a work dinner. I missed college application deadlines because I was watching 3 kids under the age of 5. I turned down job interviews because there was always an emergency, and every single time I said I had plans, I heard the same thing. Family comes first. We all make sacrifices. So I sacrificed. For 8 years. I worked a part-time data entry job on the side. I kept a planner to track my shifts. Out of habit, I started logging the babysitting too. Date. Which kid? How many hours? I didn't think I'd ever need it. I just liked keeping track. By the time I was 24, my planner had hundreds of entries, thousands of hours. And then came the day I finally asked for something back. The day everything exploded. I needed $100. I had to renew my professional certification. It was due in 3 days. I'd already pushed the deadline twice because I'd canceled my plans to babysit during peak registration. I called my sister. Casual, friendly. "Hey, I know I covered for you last minute 3 times this month. Any chance you could chip in $100 for my cert renewal?" Silence, then. "You want me to pay you?" "I mean, it's just this once. I've helped out a lot lately." "Helped out? This is what family does. This is what you do." She hung up. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. My mother. "We're having a family meeting. Tonight, be here at 6. I walked into my parents' house that evening, and everyone was already there. My sister, my brother, both parents. All of them looking at me like I'd committed a crime. My mother started. "Your sister told me you asked her for money. For babysitting. Is that true?" I asked for $100. "I've been helping for years. I just needed—" My brother cut me off. "We all sacrifice. You think you're special?" My sister folded her arms. "I can't believe you're keeping score. That's so transactional." My mother shook her head. "I raised you better than this. Family doesn't charge family. Family doesn't keep tabs." She looked me in the eye. "You apologize right now, or you're not welcome at Sunday dinners anymore." I didn't apologize. The next morning, my phone exploded. The family group chat had 47 unread messages. Aunts, cousins, even my grandmother. Every single one was about me. "Can't believe she's tearing the family apart over money. So entitled." I thought we raised her better. My sister had told everyone, her version, that I had demanded payment, that I was holding the kids hostage, that I was selfish and cruel. My nephew's birthday party that weekend? Uninvited. Sunday dinner? Canceled for me. A coworker asked me why I looked so upset. I broke down in the bathroom. Maybe they were right. Maybe I was selfish. Maybe asking for anything made me a monster. The certification deadline passed. I missed it. I sat on my apartment floor that night, staring at my phone, feeling completely alone. And then I saw my planner on the shelf. I pulled it down, flipped it open, page after page, dates, names, hours. I hadn't imagined it. It was real, all of it. I grabbed my laptop. I thought I'd lost. But then I did the math. I opened a spreadsheet. I went through every entry in my planner. Every single one, date, kid's name, start time, end time. It took me 4 hours. When I was done, I stared at the screen. 2,340 hours. Over 8 years, I had babysat for 2,340 hours. I looked up minimum wage for our state. $12 an hour at the time. I did the math. $28,080. That's what I would have earned if they'd paid me minimum wage. The lowest legal amount. I sat back. My hands were shaking. They'd called me a monster for asking for $100. $100 out of $28,000. I wasn't asking for much. I was asking for less than 1% of what I'd given. Then I looked up local daycare rates. $15 to $25 per hour. At the low end, $15 per hour. I'd provided $35,100 in childcare. I saved the file. And then I remembered something my sister had said once. Something about billing clients faster now that she had childcare covered. I opened my email, and I found something that changed everything. Before I could dig deeper, my sister posted on Facebook. It was vague, but everyone knew. When family asks you for money for doing what family should do. Heartbroken. 214 likes. Dozens of comments. My high school friends started texting me. Hey, is everything okay? Saw your sister's post. I didn't reply. What could I say? Then my mother called. I thought maybe she'd cooled down. Maybe she wanted to talk. No. If you try to make us look bad, we will make sure no one believes you. Do you understand me? She hung up. An hour later, my brother sent a text. A photo. It was a fake invoice. For all the family dinners you ate over the years, $8,000. Guess we're even. He thought it was funny, a joke. It wasn't. The next day, my landlord knocked on my door. Hey, just checking in. Your mom called. Said she was worried about your mental health. Said you've been acting erratic. Everything okay? My mother had called my landlord. To make me look unstable. I smiled, told him I was fine. Closed the door. I had 48 hours until Thanksgiving. The whole family would be there. Aunts, uncles, grandparents, cousins. If I showed up, I'd be walking into an ambush. But I had the spreadsheet. And I had one more receipt to find. I opened my email again. And I started searching. I found it in an email thread from 2 years ago. Subject line. Dependent care reimbursement approval. My sister's employer offered a childcare subsidy, $500 a month for employees who paid for regular childcare. She'd applied. And she'd been approved. The email laid it out. $500 a month for 9 months. $4,500 total. She told her employer she was paying a family member for care. She never paid me a cent. I kept digging. I remembered my brother had once sent me a Venmo request by accident. He'd immediately canceled it, but I'd seen the history. I logged into Venmo, found his profile. There it was. A payment from my parents to my brother. $3,000. The note, for childcare help, with a little red heart. My parents had given him $3,000 to help with babysitting costs the same year I watched his twins 4 nights a week. I took screenshots, saved everything. I sat back and stared at my screen. They were all getting paid. Every single one of them. My sister got $4,500 from her company. My brother got $3,000 from our parents. I got nothing. This was never about family. It was about money. And I was the one subsidizing all of them. Now I understood exactly what to do. I thought back to something my mother had said 2 years ago. We'd been at dinner. She was talking about my sister's new promotion and my brother's house. She'd looked at me and said, "We helped your sister and brother get on their feet. But you've always been so independent. You never needed us." At the time, I'd felt proud, independent, strong. Now I saw it for what it was. They hadn't helped me because I was helping them. My free labor was the foundation everyone else built on. My sister avoided $35,000 in daycare costs, and she pocketed $4,500 in subsidies on top of it. My brother got $3,000 in direct payments from our parents in a single year. Our parents got to play the role of helpful grandparents without actually sacrificing anything. I did the work. They got the credit. And as long as I kept giving, the system worked. The moment I asked for $100, the whole thing threatened to collapse. Because if I got paid, they'd have to admit what they'd been doing, using me. So they made me the villain instead. They had to. It was the only way to keep control. I finally understood the motive. And now I knew exactly how to respond. Not with revenge, with truth. I thought about suing. I looked up lawyers. But it would cost thousands. It would take years. And it would destroy what was left of my family. I didn't want revenge. I wanted respect. So I made a plan. I created a private folder on my cloud drive. Password protected. Inside, the full spreadsheet. Scanned pages from my planner. My sister's subsidy emails. My brother's Venmo screenshot. A timeline of every so-called emergency that had become routine. Then I wrote a letter. 3 paragraphs. No anger, just facts. I stated what I'd done, what they'd received, what I was owed, and I laid out my boundaries. I would attend Thanksgiving. I would not apologize. If anyone asked, I would answer honestly. And if anyone lied about me publicly again, I would share the file with the entire family group chat. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to shout. I was going to show up with the truth. I also opened a separate bank account that week. Put my savings in it. Enrolled in night classes. I was building a life with boundaries, whether they liked it or not. Thanksgiving morning, I got dressed. I printed 1 copy of the spreadsheet. I put it in my bag, and I drove to my parents' house. I walked in with my head up. I was ready. The house was full. 12 people around the table. My sister saw me first. She looked surprised I'd come. Dinner started. Small talk, football, pies. Then my Aunt Linda turned to me. "So, I heard there was some family drama?" The table went quiet. My sister jumped in before I could answer. She wanted us to pay her. For babysitting. Like we're strangers or something. Aunt Linda laughed. Uncomfortable. "Well, I mean, babysitting is work, but yeah, family's different." I stayed calm. I looked at my sister. I asked for $100 after 8 years and 2,340 hours. The room went silent. My Uncle Ted put down his fork. "Wait, 2,000 hours?" I nodded. My brother tried to deflect. "Come on, we all help each other out. That's what family does." I turned to him, still calm. "You got $3,000 from Mom and Dad for childcare costs the year I watched your twins 4 nights a week." I got nothing. My mother's face went bright red. My brother opened his mouth. Nothing came out. My sister stood up. "That's private. You have no right." I cut her off, quietly. "So is the dependent care subsidy you got from your employer? The one where you told them you paid me for childcare? $4,500. I never saw a cent." Aunt Linda's eyes went wide. My grandfather, who'd been silent the whole time, leaned forward. "What are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone, opened the spreadsheet, handed it down the table. No yelling, no theatrics, just numbers. My grandfather scrolled. His face changed. He read aloud, 2,340 hours. He looked at my sister. "You got a subsidy for paying her?" My sister's mouth opened and closed. My grandfather turned to my brother. "And you got $3,000? My brother stared at his plate. My grandmother, quiet and small at the end of the table, spoke. "We owe this child an apology." My mother tried to cut in. "Mom, you don't understand." My grandfather raised his hand. "No, we do owe an apology. All of us." The room shifted. Aunt Linda nodded slowly. Uncle Ted looked down. My mother stood up. and walked out of the room. But the truth was already on the table. And everyone had seen it. The week after Thanksgiving, my grandfather called. He and my grandmother wanted to meet for coffee. We sat in a quiet corner booth. He slid an envelope across the table. Inside was a check for $5,000. "It's not payment," he said. "It's acknowledgement. We should have seen it sooner." I cried. Not because of the money, because someone finally saw me. My sister sent a text 3 days later. "I'm sorry." That was it. 2 words. No explanation. It wasn't much, but it was something. My brother never apologized, but he stopped making jokes, and he stopped asking me to babysit. My mother didn't speak to me for 3 months. Then one day a card arrived in the mail. Her handwriting. "I don't understand what happened, but I don't want to lose you." It wasn't an apology, but it was a door left open. I set new boundaries after that. I would come to family events, but I wouldn't babysit without 48 hours notice and agreed terms. And I would leave the moment anyone disrespected me. I used my grandfather's gift and my savings to pay for the certification. I enrolled in an accelerated program. A year later, I had a new job, my own apartment, a life I'd built on my terms. I still see my family, but it's different now. My nieces and nephews ask sometimes, "Why don't you come over as much?" I smile. I ruffle their hair. Because now I come when I want to, not when I have to. And that's healthier for everyone. They don't fully understand yet, but someday they will. Here's what I learned. Being family doesn't mean being free labor. Boundaries aren't cruelty. They're clarity, and asking for what you deserve doesn't make you a monster. It makes you human. The people who love you will respect that. The ones who don't were never really on your side to begin with. So here's my question for you. Have you ever been expected to give endlessly just because that's what family does? What boundary did you finally set? Or what boundary do you wish you could set? Drop it in the comments. I read them, and I promise you're not alone. If this story hit home, subscribe. There are more stories like this one. Stories about people who found their voice when everyone told them to stay silent. And one last thing. This story is a fictionalized dramatization for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not legal or financial advice. Always consult a professional for your specific situation. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.